All right, let's talk about what just went down at Chicago Bears training camp. Because after a shaky start to the week, day 3 finally brought some fire. The first couple of days, yeah, let's not sugarcoat it, the offense looked rough. Caleb Williams and that first team unit couldn't get much going. Things felt flat, timing was off. And honestly, it had fans feeling a bit uneasy. But today, there was finally something to hang your hat on. Was it perfect? Far from it. But there were clear signs of growth, a spark that had been missing. And a few moments where you went, okay, that's the guy. That's the #1 pick. That's the potential we've been waiting to see. So let's break this down. First off, let's be real about the context. This is day 3 of camp. No pads yet. We're still very early in the install phase, so there's going to be a lot of sloppiness, miscommunication, and trial and error. But that also means every flash, every good sequence, stands out even more, and today had a few of those that are definitely worth talking about. The first team offense ran through 3 different 11 on -11 periods, just basic team drills. Not situational stuff yet. And one of the first big takeaways, Montez Sweat came to play. This dude was living in the backfield. He beat Darnell Wright clean on 1 rep. Maybe even got him twice. And completely disrupted the rhythm. One of those plays forced Caleb to throw it away. Another probably would have been a sack if this was a live game. Sweat's speed and get off were just on another level today. And while it's a good sign for the defense, it does put the offensive line under a bit of a microscope. But again, and this is important, the pads aren't on yet. Every year there's some defensive lineman who looks like a Pro Bowler in gels and shorts. We've seen it before with guys like Dominique Robinson. They flash early, get all the hype, then vanish once the real hitting starts. So while Montez is clearly a problem, we'll reserve the full judgment until they start banging for real. Still, the offense wasn't completely overwhelmed. Caleb had a nice bootleg completion to Olamide Zakos on a play-action rollout. Pretty basic design. Fake the handoff, roll right, hit the backside drag route. But it's about execution, and it was smooth, a clean 7 or 8 yard gain. Nothing fancy, but a rhythm throw, and sometimes that's all you need to get things moving. The highlight of that early stretch though, no question, it was the deep crosser to Romoduns, about 25 yards through the air. Caleb put it right on him. That's the kind of throw you draft a quarterback first overall to make. Timing, anticipation, ball placement, all checked. It might even be one of those plays that ends up all over social media because it was that pretty. But outside of that, it was still a mixed bag. The offense was inconsistent, with some throws a little late, some routes not quite sharp, and you could tell they're still trying to find their rhythm together. Now let's talk red zone. Because if you want the roller coaster experience, that's where it was. The first red zone sequence from the starters, a disaster. Honestly, 5 plays, 0 completions to interceptions. First one, dropped by Zakos right in the hands. Can't have that. Second one, Cole Kmet couldn't hang onto it in traffic. Maybe not an official drop by NFL standards, but it hit both hands. So yeah, he'd probably say he should have caught it. Then a fade attempt to O'Dunn's in the corner, and there might have been some contact there. Possibly even pass interference, but no flag came out, so incomplete. And then it got worse, a tipped ball that floated right into the arms of Jaquan Brisker. Then on the next rep, Caleb forced one over the middle, and boom, picked again by TJ Edwards. 5 plays, to picks, no points, just brutal. It was one of those sequences where you're watching and thinking, man, this could unravel quickly if they don't snap out of it. Thankfully, that wasn't the end of the day. They ran another red zone sequence later, and this time, much better. First play was a tight pylon throw to DJ Moore. Tyreek Stevenson made a solid play to knock it away. Good coverage. Then a run with Roshan Johnson that got stuffed, but third play, Caleb hit Rome again on a crosser in stride for a touchdown. And the fourth was probably the most encouraging. Caleb went through his progressions, found Zakos in the back of the end zone in a tight window, and delivered it for another score. That's the kind of bounce back you want to see from your young quarterback. 4 plays to touchdowns, 1 incompletion, and a run that didn't score. Much more efficient, much more confident. That momentum carried into the final drill of the day, a 2-minute scenario. The first team offense got 8 plays to try and drive into field goal range, and spoiler alert, they made it. Kicked the field goal to end the drive, and while there were a few bumps in the road, there was also a lot to like. Drive started with a quick completion to O'Dunn's. Then on the second play, Caleb avoided pressure and checked it down to Dander. But Swift dropped it. That was the first of the drops for Swift in that sequence, which is a little frustrating because he's been having a really strong camp overall. On the third play though, everything opened up. Caleb took off on a scramble and picked up around 40 yards. Great awareness, decisive, and he had blockers out in front. Just a smart, aggressive play. Next snap, short out route to Zackos to move the sticks, then another drop by Swift. This time on the left side, would have gone for a big gain, too, so that one definitely stings. After that, a false start by Aussie Trapillo stalled the momentum, but Caleb responded. Rolled out left and hit Devin Duvernay for a big chunk. That's the first real highlight from Duvernay we've seen this camp, so great timing on his part. Then they capped the drive with a short pass to Zackos to set up the field goal. So, yeah, some sloppiness, a couple frustrating mistakes, but overall a productive 2-minute drill. You want to see your offense finish strong, and that's exactly what they did. But look, big picture. The offense is still very much a work in progress. That's not really surprising. It's a new group, a rookie quarterback, new pieces all over the field. It's going to take time. But today was the first real indication that things might be starting to click. And more importantly, Caleb Williams showed resilience. He didn't hang his head after that ugly red zone stretch. He came back out locked in and led to strong drives to close out practice. That matters. That tells you something about his mindset. Now, while the spotlight's on the first team, let's not ignore what's happening a little further down the depth chart. Because one guy who continues to pop again and again is J.P. Richardson. We talked about him during OTA letters. We talked about him after day 1 of camp when he made that ridiculous one-handed catch. And here we are again, multiple receptions today, including back-to-back grabs while working with the third team alongside Tyson Bagent. Speaking of Bagent, he looked sharp as well, but context is key. He was going against the third team defense, so while you like to see him execute, we've got to be careful not to overhype performances that happen in that setting. Caleb is going against the ones. Case Keenum worked against the twos today. Bagent worked against the threes, so while each guy had some moments, the level of difficulty isn't the same. Still, credit where it's due. Richardson keeps making plays, and he's someone to watch going into the preseason games. He's got punt return experience from his time at TCU, especially last season. And if he can flash in that phase of the game, he might just earn himself a roster spot. At the very least, practice squad seems almost like a lock at this point. He's that consistent. On the injury front, we got an update on Jalen Johnson. Not directly from the team, but based on what's being reported. Sounds like he's going to miss around a month. The Bears initially said a few weeks, which is vague on purpose, but if it ends up being closer to 4 weeks, we're looking at a return sometime in late August. That timeline would likely rule him out for the preseason, and probably keeps him on the sideline for those joint practices with the Dolphins and Bills. But if he's back with 2 or even 2.5 weeks before the season opener against Minnesota, that should give him enough time to ramp up and be ready. And look, Jalen's a veteran at this point. He knows what it takes to get game ready. He's dealt with minor injuries before, but he always answers the bell. So while it's not ideal, it's not something to panic about. Not yet, anyway. As for the rest of the injury situation, Braxton Jones had a scheduled rest day. Nothing to worry about there. He's still ramping up, hasn't done full team drills yet, and with padded practice coming up Tuesday, the guess is he won't be fully cleared by then either. Maybe he's ready by August 8th for the joint session with the Dolphins. Or maybe it's more like August 15th when they face the Bills. Either way, the Bears are clearly being cautious, and that's fine. No reason to rush it. Luther Burton still isn't practicing. No shock there. Best case scenario, he's back Monday. Sunday is an off day, so we'll see where things stand after that. Zay Frazier is away from the team dealing with a personal issue. No word yet on when he'll return. And Yamar Turner, who tweaked his ankle on day 1, was still sidelined as well. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL offseason has never lacked intrigue, but a new rumor is lighting up conversations in sports bars, online forums, and front offices across the league. T.J. Watt, the perennial All-Pro linebacker, might be heading to the Windy City. Sources close to the situation suggest that a blockbuster trade between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears is gaining unexpected traction. Though nothing is official, whispers around the league point to advanced talks and quiet moves being made behind closed doors. Watt, the face of the Steelers' defense for years, has been a cornerstone in Pittsburgh, earning Defensive Player of the Year honors and becoming one of the most feared pass rushers in football. The idea of him in a different uniform seems unthinkable. Yet stranger things have happened in this league. The Bears, looking to bolster a young but promising defense, may be pushing all their chips to the center of the table with draft picks and cap flexibility at their disposal. Chicago could be ready to pull off one of the biggest trades in recent franchise history. The motivation. Insiders say the Bears are feeling the pressure to return to relevance, with a new quarterback era dawning and a defensive-minded coaching staff eager to establish dominance. A player like Watt could be the final piece in transforming them from a rebuilding team into serious playoff contenders. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh may be facing tough financial decisions, and if they're entertaining a reset or a retooling phase, parting with Watt, however painful, might bring long-term benefits in the form of picks and young talent. Still, the thought of T.J. Watt leaving Pittsburgh is bound to stir emotions. His loyalty to the franchise, his legacy, and his connection to the Steelers faithful cannot be overstated. Yet if there's a moment for bold moves, it's now, and if this rumor proves true, the entire NFC North may need to brace for a storm. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.